Hey guys, my name is RyanCentral and welcome to HitScan. Because of the leak earlier, a couple of the embargoes have changed up and we can talk a little bit more freely about Astra, going over what her abilities do and all that kind of jazz. Can't show any new gameplay, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow for the proper embargo for that, but we can go into a bit more detail on this agent and what to expect. So this is Astra, her nationality is from Ghana, her power source is radiant and she is a controller. The Ghanaian agent Astra harnesses the energies of the cosmos to reshape battlefields to her whim. With full command of her astral form and talent for deep strategic foresight, she's always eons ahead of her enemy's next move. Let's go over the abilities and show the right gameplay in the right places. The main thing though is that she has kind of a passive at least, which is astral form. You press X to activate this button and you enter this astral form as you've seen, where you can place stars with primary fire. Stars can be reactivated later, transforming them into various things, which we'll touch on in a second. For more information on how these cost and how they interact with other abilities, again, check the video tomorrow for sure. But basically, you go into this astral form and you place down stars, and these stars can turn into one or three things. The first is a gravity well, where you activate a star to perform a gravity well. Players in this area are pulled towards the center before it explodes, making all players still trapped inside fragile, providing the same vulnerable effect as you would get from a Killjoy alarm bot, for example. That's ability 1. Ability 2 is a Nova Pulse, where when you activate, it detonates a Nova Pulse and it charges briefly, then strikes, concussing all players in its area. We talked about this in the previous video. You can see it on the Breach here as an example, that he gets stunned much like you would do if you were stunned by a Breach or a Sky with some of her utility. The final one is Nebula, where you activate a star to transform it into a nebula smoke. But there is an interesting passive to this that's worth mentioning as well, and that's Dissipate. If you press F on a star to dissipate it, it will bloom as a smoke, and then it will disappear, and the resource will be returned to you after a bit of a delay. So it basically forms a fixed smoke and then the smoke immediately disappears. Great for baiting people into maybe trying to push through them, and then boom, they're on their own. They're left out in the open. The final ability, the ultimate, is actually called Cosmic Divide. When Cosmic Divide is charged, you use your secondary fire in the astral form to begin aiming it, and then you select 2 locations basically lined down the wall, and the Cosmic Divide connects to 2 points you select, and it will block bullets and heavily dampen audio. Again, can't really go into much more detail other than that, but whilst this gameplay is playing on in the background, I do want to read some of the quotes from the devs on what this agent is meant to do, and we can talk about that a little bit, because I really like the idea of this agent, and it would be really cool to see more competition to Omen and Brimstone, more specifically Omen because of how popular he is in the pro scene, so having Astra maybe compete against that would be super cool. Rex, who was a designer, was asked, what were your goals when designing Astra? And they said, we wanted to make a controller that was thinking about the whole map. Her global presence was right there from the beginning. From there, it was fine-tuning and finding the right abilities to balance predicting enemies' actions and reacted to changing game circumstances. We love that Astra has a different perspective on the map, and you have an actual top-down view with the astral form to start naturally thinking about the different ways a round could go and how to account for them. Again, all of the utility that Astra uses is deployable, so you can pretty much set it up and have strategies on where you'd like to place your util. Just think Killjoy, but on crack, I suppose, with how much you can do. You can't always be in the driver's seat, dictating the flow of a round, but you have the abilities to react and change what your plan is based on the fact that stars could be 1 of 3 different abilities, right? We wanted a skill expression to be about gathering information and turning that into a plan, where the execution phase is less about precisely targeting a grenade throw and more about seeing if you can read the enemy and if they come together as you would hoped. So this, again, feels very much like an IGL controller role that people could be having. You set up the executes to play and you just have a good read on how the map works. That's the general consensus of what these guys wanted. But I think this was also coming from John Krasinski as well, talking about various areas here. But I'll leave it there for now. I just want to keep these videos short to get that information out there, but a bit more information on how some of these abilities work. So let me know if you enjoyed that. Be sure to keep out for all of the content coming out tomorrow, as well as a giveaway that starts then too. So until then, take care. We'll see you tomorrow.